In Adobe XD, artboards represent each of the screens that you design for your mobile app, pages for your website or other projects. And when creating a new project, you can typically choose an artboard size to start with, as we've seen in one of the previous videos. So if you click on the home icon right here, you're going to see this loading, and basically this is going to enable you to sort by a few artboards presets, such as for mobile, for tablet, and even for web, or you can add your own width and custom height. So the other way that you can create artboards is simply clicking here on the artboard tool, and you're going to see on the very right that you're going to have a few presets that you can choose, and these are going to be similar to the ones in the home screen. So you can simply click on, for example, iPhone X, XS, and 11 Pro, and you're going to see that the artboard has been created. Now, if we click on return, we can actually create an artboard by ourselves by simply clicking and holding after we clicked on the artboard tool. Now, let's say that we want to change the size of this artboard. Well, the easiest way is to simply go on one of these elements on the very borders of the artboard. And you can simply click with the left mouse button, and while holding the left mouse button, you can simply resize the actual artboard. Now, there's another way that you can resize the artboard, and also where you can see exactly the width and the height of the artboard, and that is by using the right column, where you can see over here there's width and height, and in this case we have a width of 1427 pixels and a height of 1047 pixels. Now, if we simply select this number and we change it, for example, to 500, and we press enter, you're going to see that we're now going to have 500 pixels of height. And if we change the width to 1000, you can see that the artboard has now changed. Now, you can see the artboards on the very left. As you can see over here, there's artboard 1, and if we create another artboard, you're going to see that more artboards are going to be added on the very left. Now, another thing which is quite important is that you can lock the aspect of the artboard. So by doing this, you can essentially change the values, and by the way, you can also use Shift plus the up and down arrow keys in order to move and resize the artboard in increments. And you can see that the original ratio is going to be preserved. So this is going to be even more clear if we do a width of 500, and then we're going to unlock it so that we can change the height also to 500. And if we lock it again and we update the number, and we can also use directly adding a number right here, you can see that it's always going to be a perfect square. So definitely something to keep in mind, and we'll continue in the next video. In Adobe XD, you can easily save your file in just a few clicks. So the very first thing that you want to consider is that you want to name the file. So for example, over here we're going to rename the file on as a dashboard, and we're going to save it in the cloud document. Now, what this enables you to do is basically, as it explains here, it's going to save your document and work from any device, even when you're disconnected. And you can click over here to learn more, and this link is going to bring you to the Adobe link. Now, another feature which is for premium users is that you can save your file in your own computer. So by simply clicking here and clicking on this file right here, you can go on desktop or any other place in your computer, and you can save the file right in the specific folder and location which you prefer. Now, once you click on save, the document of course is going to be saved. And an interesting feature is that whenever you make some edits on the current file, you're going to see an asterisk if the file is not saved until this most recent update. So whenever you see an asterisk, you know that you might want to save the file in order to have the file saved on as the very last version. Now there's also some other ways you can save the file. You can simply go on File, and then you're going to see two options. The first one is Save, and the second one is Save As. If you click on Save, you're going to simply save the file on with its current document name and location. But if you click on Save As, you're going to be able to choose the location again where you want to save the file, so either on your computer or in the cloud, and then you can click on save in order to finish the action. Now, another thing which is quite useful to learn is the shortcut in order to save the file and also the save as. So basically you can, if you want to just save the file, you can use Command plus S, and you're going to see that this is saving, and now it's saved. And if you want to save as, you're going to want to use the shortcut Command Shift and S, and you're going to be redirected to this modal window right here, which prompts you to again save the file either in the cloud or in your computer. So this is pretty much it when it comes to the saving options in Adobe XD, and I'll see you in the next video. Layers in Adobe XD are an adaptation of the layers in software such as Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop that you know and depend on, but they're reimagined for UX designers. If you use the other softwares such as Sketch and Figma, the principles are very similar. So the way that the layers work is basically we have the left section, which is all about the layers. If you don't see it, as it might be like this by default, you can simply click on the second icon from the bottom, which is the layers. You can also use the shortcut Command Y in order to access it or in order to hide it and show it. And as you can see in this example, we have three layers types. So the first one is an image, the second one is typography, and the third one is a shape. Now, as you can see, we have different thumbnails for these different icons, and this one in particular, it's grouped, which is the arrow. And in order to see what the shape looks like, we're going to ungroup it, since this is inside a folder. Now, if you ungroup it, we can see the third icon, which is this pen tool icon, which refers to the vector layers. So as you can see, there's different thumbnails for each and every one of these layers, and you can also filter by items. So you can filter only by images, and also by shapes or text, and especially if you're going to have multiple layers in the artboard, this can be really useful in order to identify the specific type of layers. But for this instance, we're just going to keep it at all items. And if you click back in the artboard, you can see that you can basically access the artboard from a high level, or the artboards if you have multiple of them, and then you can simply click directly inside the item and you can access the layer. Now, this is it for this video. We're going to explore many more features about layers in the upcoming videos. In this quick video, I'm going to show you how to lock and hide layers. Now this process is extremely simple and can be really useful, especially when you're working on documents with a lot of layers and you want to organize the workflow in a certain way. So the way you can lock a layer is you can simply select the layer in and of itself, and then you can click on lock, or alternatively use Command+L in order to access the shortcut. Now we're just going to click on this lock icon, and as you can see now the icon at the very top left is a lock icon. So that means that we cannot select the layer or move the layer around. So if we actually select both of these layers, I cannot essentially select it. So this is going to be really useful, especially when you're working with a lot of layers in the background, and maybe you're having some work to do with layers in the foreground, and this can definitely be quite useful. Now, another useful feature about Adobe XD layers is that you can also hide them. Now we're going to unlock this layer by re-clicking on the icon. Now we're going to click on hide, which you can access also using the shortcut Command-I. And now you can see that the layer is not visible, and we won't even have a border outline like in the lock state. So this means that we can literally move layers on top of it, and we won't be able to see it all together. We will still be able to see it though in the column on the left, the layers column. So this is still going to be visible, but the layer is going to have less opacity, and it's also going to have this crossed eye icon. So basically this is telling us that the layer is not present in the canvas, it's not visible, but it's still present in the artwork. So we haven't deleted this layer, we simply made it not visible, and if we click on show again, you're going to be able to see it again and edit it and access its full features. So this is it when it comes to the lock and hide layers, and I'll see you in the next video.